Hello class, this is your teacher Mr. McDougall with your next Photoshop tutorial. In this one, I'm going to teach you a couple of different ways you can warp subjects or objects or images around in Photoshop. So for this classwork, as usual with classwork, download all of the exercise files for today and open them all up in Photoshop. So you have a lot to play with. We're going to start with the Warp 01 right here. We're going to start with this one. So take a second and pause this video if you still need to download and open all the photos, and then rejoin me here at this point, starting with Warp 01. So for this one, we're going to start bending the skies and these images around a little bit. So for that one, to create a protective layer, we're going to do some smart objects and some duplicating just to be extra safe. So for this one, Command J to duplicate it. And this top one, this copy layer, we're going to convert this one into a smart object. So right click and do convert to smart object, or filter convert for smart filters like we did in the last lesson. So now with warp 1 being our smart object, we're going to take warp 2, this new sky, and we're going to bring it into warp 1. So either copy paste it, or I like to just move it and drop it right in. It doesn't matter where you drop it at first because we're going to move it a little bit later, so just leave it right there for right now. Now we're going to put our copy layer on top to sandwich the new sky. So take your smart copy, drag it to the very top layer. So you have your smart copy, your new sky, and then the original background. So with the smart copy, the one on the top, we're going to add the warp effect to it. So let's go up to Edit, and we're going to go down to Transform, and then we're going to go to Warp right here. So when you do that, you'll see you have this right here, this rule of thirds grid. And now we have all of these anchor points around the corners. So what we can do with these is with these corners, I can drag this corner like this. And now I'm peeling it back. I'm warping this around. All of these other corners you could still grab too. I can grab this one. It kind of stretches it. It makes it look kind of like elastic a little bit, like it's stretchy plastic. And I can peel the corner of the sky. So just peel the corner of the sky, kind of like this. You can make it however you want. You can wider like that. Whatever you want to do, go up there. Just make it so it look like we're peeling the corner. Once you're satisfied, hit the checkbox. And make sure that you did the smart object like I mentioned earlier, because if you didn't do smart object, now this is permanent. There's nothing else we could do. But if you did it as a smart object, we can still go back and change it. If I go back to the Edit, Transform, and Warp, these points are still available to be manipulated. So that's always why we want to do a smart object whenever we can, just in case. It's always better to be able to change our minds. So now with layer 2, the new sky, we can move that one around to a new position to look like a replacement sky. So put it wherever you want. I'll put it right there like it's a brand new sky. We're revealing this starry night with these sunny blue sky clouds. So perfect, just like that. Simple, easy warp for this one. Do the same thing with each pair of shots. So for warp 3 and warp 4, do the same thing. Take warp 4, put it on warp 3, and peel this one back to reveal the sky underneath it. Same thing with 5 and 6. So put the new sky, number 6, onto number 5, and then peel this one from either of the corners to reveal the sky underneath it. So pause the video right now so you can do that. And then when you're done, join me at Puppet 01. All right, so here on Puppet 01, we are going to start warping these people as well. We're going to use a slightly different type of warp. So the first thing we're going to do with this one is to select the subject. So get your quick selection tool. Take a second to select your subject out. I've already selected her, but take a second to do that. And then once you have, do add a layer mask and clean up your mask with the selected mask. So I will do that part right now. Selected mask. Make sure you still select your person and do the same thing I'm doing. I need to clean this part up right here. Clean up the hair. Make sure you don't have any purple in the background. Much better. Oh, I need to fix that. I forgot her shoe, but that's the good thing about select a mask is I can just jump right back into it. Go down here, fix the shoe. Perfect. Okay. All right, looking much better. Make sure you do the same thing. Select out your subject and click add a layer mask so we have the girl on her own layer with the mask around it so we can move her around. So pause the video if you still need to get caught up to this point and then jump here. So the next thing you're going to do is I haven't provided you with a new background. So I want you to pick and open any of the background files I provided for you so far in this course. So this is one I gave you a few lessons ago. You could pick this one or pick any other of the background files that you have been provided. I'm going to go with this one. But take a second to open up any file I've given you so far to put this girl on a new background. And then we will move her in. So I'm going to take her and drop her right in there. There she is. So again, pause the video if you need to get caught up to this point. Find a background file to open up and put her there. The next thing we're going to do is convert her to a smart object so we can start adding this puppet effect just like we did in the other files. So on her layer, right click, convert to smart object. So now we can start puppeting, warping her around. So for this one, we're going to go back up again to edit. And instead of going to transform and warp, we're going to go to this one right here called puppet warp. So with puppet warp, you will see this right here. It looks like she has kind of a webbing around her. And with this puppet warp webbing, what we can do is then start clicking on parts of her body. And when we click, we're going to put a little pinpoint right here. And with this pinpoint, with just one, it won't do anything. But now that I have that one, I could rotate like this. In order to start puppet warping the way I want to show you, we're going to add more of these pinpoints to where her joints would be. So I'm going to put it right here on her shoulder, her other shoulder, her elbow, her hips, and then her knees as well. So put these pinpoints around these joints. Anywhere that there's a pin, it's an anchor point, so it prevents that spot from moving. So now, last time when I tried to move her hand, it moved her whole body, but now if I do this, it's rotating just here, and the other anchor points are staying in place. So you can take any of these points and rotate it and bend it however you'd like. And when I click again, it adds a new point. So now if I bend this part, it's just going to bend the wrist. You can delete anchor points by right-clicking on them and just doing delete pin to get rid of them. But you can see what will happen now is now we can start bending their bodies in funny ways, just like that. Whenever you add an anchor point, it will prevent that spot from moving. So let's say I want to do that. Move this out here. Something like that. Just allowing you to have fun. For this part, I want you to have fun and be silly. Play with these other settings up here. If you look up here where it says mode, right? By default, it's on normal, but you can change it to this one that says distort. And the distort one, what will happen is when you move them out like that, it distorts their body. And you can see it makes it look a little silly with making it bigger or smaller as you increase it. So feel free again to just have fun with however you would like to bend these people around. Right here where it says density, you can do it from fewer or more. If you add more, it will just give you some more options like that. So just really take your time. This next part of Photoshop, we're going to get a little silly with doing stuff like this. So enjoy it. When you're finished, you can hit this checkbox. But we did a smart object. So remember, with the smart object, I can double click here on Puppet Warp and I can come back and make any changes I would like to change. If you did not do the smart object, then that's permanent. You're stuck with her like that. Okay? So as you might imagine, I want you to do the same thing with the remaining puppet files. Take these people in their crazy poses and bend them, puppet warp them around however you'd like. Make sure you put them on a new background. Don't leave them on the background they already are. Pick any of the new backgrounds that I've given you, like this one. Any of those, I've given you tons of background files to play with, so pick any one to put these new people on and puppet warp them around. There is one remaining exercise file I would like you to use, though, that I have not provided, and that is your photo from the My Name project. So whatever crazy pose photo you did from the My Name, I want you to open that one up and puppet warp yourself as well. So that will be your assignment for today, to just have some fun, and it's okay to be silly and make things look a little weird sometimes. So take screenshots of all your edited stuff, all your crazy edited puppets, including the photo of yourself as well. Don't forget that one. Take screenshots of your peeled sky and you'll be attaching all of those to today's assignment. Okay, so have fun. I can't wait to see what you create, and let me know if you have any questions.